Hey guys, this is Davey T from Field Sports Scotland, and I'm coming to you for the second part of my Begara build. As you've seen in the last episode, I set up a rail on it. I was hoping to pick up my moderator today, but the moderator never came. So I'm going to explain to you the next step. When we set up the rail on the Begara, what actually happened was we noticed that the scope was sitting a little bit too high. Now, this is not the Begara, obviously. This is a 6.5 Creedmoor, and we set up the Arkin EP5 7 to 35 by 56 on this. And as you can see, these have got these medium heights. So very similar to what we were experiencing with the Begara is that we have a fairly big gap. Not as big a gap as what the Begara had, but a fairly big gap underneath the scope to the barrel ratio in regards to the height of this. So this could have probably done with a set of low mounts as well. However, I'm not too worried about that because this one's only going to shoot out to about 500-600 yards. And after setting, which was so easy to do, by the way, after setting the zero stop on this, I was able to get a full 10 MOA in elevation, almost 11 MOA on elevation of the turret, which means I'll get out easily using the reticle and using the turret. I'll get out to easily 600-700 yards with the 6.5 Creedmoor. Bore sighting this, I have got a video where I'm going to show you the whole mounting process that I went through and bore sighting this and getting it on target. And you might have seen the short that I put up in regards to me actually shooting this. It was a quick short and it kind of shows you where my points of impact were. However, as I said, the bore sighting this, after bore sight, I was approximately a few inches away from being on target, but I was definitely on paper. And that gives you an idea of the kind of process that I go through in that video. That video is going to be posted up very soon. But this is what it looks like at the moment. This is the 6.5 Creedmoor TCAS CTR. It is an absolute fantastic rifle. And with this scope on, the Arkin EP5 is 7 by 35 by 50. Again, same lifetime warranty. Amazing alloy rings with titanium, mixed aluminium titanium rings. But we'll go through that because I've got a set of rings that have arrived and I've lost them. Where have I? Oh, they're there. They're there. I've got. So anyway, they arrived and I got really excited. So I thought, well, stuff it. I'm going to do another bloody another addition to my build. So we're going to take this rifle. We'll stick it on the tripod. By the way, this is a DNT tripod and clamp system, but I can't really talk about that right now because it's not out in the market. So we're going to stick that on. And we are going to bring in the Begara. And as you see on the Begara, I still do not have a moderator on the end of it yet. However, I can see me just to make sure everything is fine. Now, there's final steps before this is going to go out in the field. Like I've got to kind of oil up the bolt and things like that. It's nice and smooth as it is. If we can get back in. I broke it! No, it is nice and smooth. With it being a kind of fluted barrel, it does feel quite nice. What I'll do is I'll put a thin layer of oil over the top of that to make it a little bit nicer. Anyhow, that's it completely safe. And we will talk about these. Now, these rings are Arkin's Halo TI scope rings. They're CNC'd, machined, and they've got aerospace grade 70-75 aluminium and titanium alloy to ensure the products perform the precision of the world's most rugged environments. Right, so that is me read everything on the back of that. And as you can see, I'm very poor at reading. Actually, the light would have helped if I didn't have it like that and I was looking at it in more light. Yeah. So Arcane Optics Halo TI scope rings are CNC machined from aerospace grade 7075 aluminium and titanium alloy to ensure our products perform with precision in the world's most rugged environments. So that's what it says on the back of this. So it does say Halo TI, 34mm tube, 23.4mm in height, 0.92 inches, 775 T6 aluminium, or if you live in the States, aluminum, even though there is an I in there and it should be aluminium. Anyway, I'm not going to get to argue. So let's see what we've got in here. We have our scope rings, just very similar to the other ones that we have. We get our hex key, or it's not an Allen key, it is actually a hex Torx Allen style key. I'll call it a Thule Meduda or a Spannery Meduda. You get that? But I've got one of them anyway inside the box of the scope. And we have a couple of spare screws, just two, but we have a couple of spare screws. What we're going to do is we'll use a fixing stick to mount these. We're not going to, so I'll throw these spare bits back in the packaging just now. And I'm telling you one thing, quality of these mounts, I cannot tell you a price of them because I haven't been told the price of them. So, but the quality of these mounts are fantastic. Now, as you've seen, I put them on the 6.5 Creedmoor and it is fantastic. So let's get this scope out. And we're going to put the box down there just now. So these were the ones that were medium and we sat on and they were a little bit too high. Let's see what these small ones are going to be like. So we will get, again, I should have been all prepared for this. I know, oh, you've got to watch me now. Take all the screws off and all sorts of stuff, put the screws back on and mount it. But I'm going to explain to you why I think it's going to be important that we put lower rings on and show the spacers than the medium ones. That was a little bit tight. I like that. These have been obviously factory tightened. They're in the packaging, so no screws and all that are going to come out. So I know I'm kind of hiding what I'm doing. I'm just basically taking the tops off the rings. But as all you guys know out there, I am useless with my fingers and my thumbs when it comes to these sort of stuff. I'm not the most. I'm not the most. What's the word? Technical guy, technically handed guy. Do you know? I did train as a mechanic once, and I was actually quite good at it. But one thing I've got to say, I didn't like being a mechanic. So um, I know quite a lot about engines. I know quite a lot about cars, but these fiddly little things and putting my hands in places and tight gaps and all that, my hands really got really sore. I felt like that I was doing myself more damage than good. I really was a bit of a, can't say certain words anymore, whether that is on YouTube or anything, but I was a bit of a pansy when it came to working with cars. So I chose not to anymore. But to be honest, like I do a pretty grimy, horrible job as it is. So right, let's go and see how the difference. We will set these up more or less where I had the last rings set up. Yeah. And we will put them there. Oh, would have untightened. So this will give me a good idea how these guys are going to sit on top of this rifle. I like the look of these rings actually. They're quite stylish. They don't look bad on the rifle. Even the medium ones didn't look bad on the rifle. Right, stand up. Give a little hand tighten. As I said, said before, I'm doing this for the benefit of the camera. Normally, I would have this facing me, and I would just whiz through these. But when you're trying to show off to the camera, you can't. It's not ideal stretching over something to look at a screw. Things like that happen. And as I said, I'm not tightening these up because we want these around says it on it 30-inch pounds. Right, so this is the moment of truth. How does this Mahusiv, well, it's not Mahusiv, it's actually bigger scopes out there. A lot of the scopes in this range are actually a little bit bigger. And we're going to take all the bits off and we're going to see how that sits. Oh God, that looks okay. That really does look okay. See how much lower I can't get my finger in there? We've got still a little bit of a gap there. Now that should allow me to gain a little bit more extra elevation on the turret side of things. That should allow me to get more elevation on when I am trying to get out to that range. So yeah, so that's looking okay. Now the moment of truth here as well is bolt clearance. Oh, that's going to be a little bit of a problem. I don't have any bolt clearance. And the scope is basically sitting, well, it's not sitting on the rail, there is a gap there, but I have no bolt clearance there. There's a little kind of throw lever here. I might actually have to, there is a little bit of clearance. Yeah, I'm going to have to take this little kind of throw lever, which the Arkin doesn't have, believe it or not. I'm going to have to take that off. And this is, again, this is things that you don't know it until you start fitting the scope. So you want the scope as low as possible to the barrel. We have got that. We have got a little bit of gap space between the bottom of the scope and the rail. So it is sitting there. It's not leaning on anything and it is fully on the rings. Now we have, when we're at the lowest magnification, which is 7 times, we now have an issue with the bolt handle just slightly touching that throw lever just here. However, if I take the magnification up a little bit, I have no problem cycling the bolt. And that gives me quite a good clearance. So all we need to do is take that little throw lever off and just do it like manually. Because for instance, there is no throw lever on the Arkin EP5. It's obviously a little bit of extra design that they put onto the DNT optics. But it's no big deal. We can take that off. So that's what we'll do just now. Just make sure I've got the right torque on. Nope. Smaller torque. We have one of my small torques, which is. See if we can get that. Oh, it would be helpful if I put it in the right place. Even smaller than that. So that must be this one here. A little small torque here. Yep, that one will do. So we'll take that off. So just so you can see what I'm doing, Put the bolt back in. As you see, there's a throw lever here. It's at the top there. Now I'm gonna, it's two little kind of torque screws. Just gonna take them off. What we want to do is get the best elevation possible for the scope. So we need to get it as low as possible to the barrel. So we've got them off. And so those holes are not going to get filled with water and all sorts of rubbish. What we'll do is we'll stick those little torque screws back in. Don't need to be tight. They're just in there to hold that throw lever on anyway. I kind of envisaged that this was going to be a problem. That's the mint. Just make sure it's not causing any compromise. That's fine. Got those two little screws in there. We can take them out. We don't need to worry about them. Now, I have no problem cycling the bolt. So, right. Next job now. Just double check that there is clearance. There is a gap there. There's no issues down there. Seems to be firm on there. Put the box down. Sunshade. Now we will move to adding. So that's our little throw lever. That's the throw lever I took off. You can see how big it really is. Now I've got to make sure that we'll be able to straighten that up. But that is our throw lever. And it is, to be fair, it's about half an inch. Just under half an inch. Maybe less, about quarter an inch, but it's still quarter an inch. It's still quite a large bit. So to be honest, it would have been better if that wasn't for this size of scope. Probably would have been better if there wasn't a throw lever there. I'm not saying it's a design fault. Just saying that it's easily fixed. Just close that down a little bit. You can get a wee plastic plate or something like that. That'll go over that, I think. Might be something that we can talk to DNT about. Anyway, right now we need to fit the tops off the scope. So we will. First of all, we are going to take the scope off, and we are going to torque up the. We're going to torque up the bases of the mount. So we want this at 30-inch pounds. So again, just past 25. One. And again, let's fix it stick. Makes so much easier. Just tip it around slightly so you can see the light. go. So that's the base is on. That is the rail on. Now we just put the scope on. Now we don't do this tight because obviously we want to be able to move the scope, adjust the just the level of the scope and things like that, move it back and forward for our eye relief, that sort of stuff. So we're just going to centralize the scope. Take Now, a lot of you guys out there probably go, oh, well, I've changed scopes loads of times. Well, believe it or not, it doesn't quite work like that. There's some guys out there that are very scared, and I'm not surprised that they're going to do something wrong when replacing scopes or when they are mounting scopes. There's nothing much you can do wrong. In the old days, if you got the wrong rings and stuff like that, yes, you would crimp the scope, and it's very rare that happens anymore. Because everything's all the torques and tolerances are all set on the rings now. So if you get the right rings for the right scope already, that will help. Now I'm taking it down to bite and then I'm just backing off a little, just so that it's not torqued up and it's not clamped in, because then we need to turn around and level it. Now I'm not going to show you my bore sighting process with this rifle because I've already did it with the 6.5 Creedmoor, and to be honest, we're going over rehashing the same stuff over and over and over again. But if you are interested, I might still take a video of me bore sighting this off the tripod in the garden. And now I am literally going to level the rifle. You can get a spirit level or bubble if you want. And I am going to check my eye relief. And what I do is I pick a line that I can see. So I've got, make sure the rifle is level. I pick a line that I can see, straight line, and then I just line my reticle up with your head back and forward to where you think. So I'm actually going to zoom this all the way back to 7. So basically I can see better. Make sure the rifle is straight. Got a line on the fence that I'm looking at just now outside. And as I said, it's bubble level helps this, but I'm usually pretty good at this. I think that's us. And then again, with these, basically, you're just taking to bite. You don't want to bite too much because as you tighten up in the old rings, you used to have an issue where as soon as you tightened up the rings, your scope would quite happily shift. We don't want that to happen, so again, we'll bite. We're not torquing these up, so I don't need to do it in any kind of particular fashion. Bite, make sure it's still level. Looks pretty level to me. And do this with 2 eyes open. Don't do it with just 1 eye and 1 eye closed, because your head's going to be canted already when you put it over the cheek weld. Move it a little. Just make sure that when you move it to the left or the right, it comes off your line. Oh, that's pretty good. And then we will torque up again to 38-inch pounds. But if I find my torque bits, just so I can see the lines. And then up here, just over the 25. Click. Doesn't click, I just click it in my head. Makes it easier for me to, again, just over 25. And then next. And then we are just double check all of these. Same, that's it. So there we go, that's the scope on. Never pretty good, and it's plenty clearance. I can use this to zoom now. It's first focal plane. And we are very low. And there we go. That is it. That is this rifle almost complete. All we need to do now is add a bipod, which I've got a spare one lying about. We'll probably use that until we get a half decent one. And moderator, I should have had it today, but I haven't phoned the gun shop to see what was going on. But the person I was dealing with at the gun shop, I know they're off on a Monday. So I will give them a call tomorrow and see if they are available tomorrow. So there we go. There is a big difference in the gap from here to the center of the scope than what there was on the 6.5 Creedmoor, as you can see from here. If we straighten that up, straight 6.5 Creedmoor. As you can see, the gap here, I can maybe, I don't know if you can. Yeah, you can see now. The gap, I can fit my pinky through, fit my middle finger through underneath. So that means there's quite a big difference between the center of the barrel and the center of the scope there. As you see, I cannot fit my pinky or my index finger underneath here and the center of the barrel, which I'll measure before we take this out to long range. And just to make sure that, because so you can clearly see a difference, the sunshade does make a difference. It would tell if I turned it the wrong way. There we go. Long, long, long way. One of the lights just died. That's hilarious. And what else is going to die? As you see, makes it more streamlined. Now it's ready for bore sighting. I'll take it out in the garden, stick it onto the tripod, bore sight it at, if the weather's fine, might take a wee video of that, but we'll bore sight that out to 25 yards. And I've got a little kind of video that I'll put up of me bore sighting this, and I'll just show you how close that my bore sighting. I usually have the same process for every rifle, so this is nothing special with this one. And it'll show you, it'll give you an idea of the process that I have when bore sighting this my rifles. And the little short that I'll put up of me bore sighting this, you'll see how close I am to the 2-inch target just on a straight off. So it does work. It does work, and it allows you to save ammunition. I was actually, I'll take this away. I'm actually going to speak about that for a couple of things in regards to it. So we'll take this away. And we'll put it down there. God, that looks amazing. It absolutely still looks fantastically amazing. The lights have come back on. So what we're going to do is I'm going to remove this a little bit. There. See if the medium rings will throw into here. Oh, they do quite fit actually. Oh, that's quite funny. So we will throw these medium rings in here. And we'll put these in the box so that that's mediums, just in case I decide that the mediums will be a better idea if I change the rail. Still thinking about that I might actually have to change the rail. But one thing I'm going to talk about just now is the difference on the 6 Creedmoor and the 6.5 PRC. Now, it's not a huge difference. It's a huge difference in velocities, but it's not a huge difference in regards to the cartridge itself. So there we have 6.5 PRC. So I don't know where the best way to show this to you. And that is, these are the TX, what size of bullets? These are 130 grain bullets. So it's a slightly smaller bullet, but this is a copper load. This is going to be a copper hunting load, and that's what I'm going to use for that just now. But we'll probably for match, well, I don't really do the whole competition thing, mainly because I can't bloody afford it. It is so expensive. But I use 140 grain bullet for the 6.5 Creedmoor. Now, there is a big difference in the cartridge size. Bear in mind, these are both 6.5mm cartridges. The shape is slightly different and the cartridge size is slightly different. The diameter of the cartridge is not different. Obviously, they're 6.5s. So basically, I can put the exact same bullet from the PRC as what I use in the Creedmoor. Now, the PRC was developed by George Garner at GA Precision. Now, it is predominantly a hunting cartridge, but it was also designed to be a precision rifle cartridge. So it gives you all the velocities of, say, a 6.5 by 55 or even a 270 in a smaller cartridge, and it allows you to have the same size of head with the same BC as the 6.5 Creedmoor. Now, I don't have enough experience between the two cartridges to tell you if the PRC is going to be better than the Creedmoor. One thing I will say about the 6.5 Creedmoor, that's this one behind me, is the 6.5 Creedmoor is stupidly accurate. It's not fussy on ammunition. I can pretty much take any load and I will get out of that Tikka behind me and I will get sub MOA accuracy all the time. I probably could do the same with any bullet. I haven't found a bullet it doesn't like. Unlike my 243, it only likes two bullets, 55 grain Blitz King Sierras or a 100 grain Sierra. The 6.5 Creedmoor is not fussy whatsoever. The 6.5 PRC, I've been told, is not fussy either. So I am looking forward to doing a load development. So the next part of this build is, and the next episode will be me adding a moderator, showing you what moderator I've chose. There's no point me showing you screwing in a moderator because we're not allowed to do that on YouTube. So is me going putting the first rounds through this will be on the next episode of the Begara build, and we will go through what I'm going to go next and do through the load development. So I might even put that in the next video so you're not so much waffling on. But what I liked about this, I'm going to put this away now. Just mounting that scope, though, to that rifle has really made a difference to how this scope, this rifle looks. Now, I'm going to say this is far from a light rifle. It is definitely not a light rifle. But is it heavier than the 6.5 Creedmoor? At the moment, without the moderator, no, it's not. It's about the same weight. But look at how sexy that rifle really is. It is looking good. Both these rifles are very, very sexy. Now, at the moment, without a moderator on, could I freestand? Not a problem, but I'm a big chap. There's a few things I'm going to be interested in. See what the recoil's like. See how it performs on the first rounds. Remember, I'm going to put around about 15 to 20 rounds through this anyway. That's what that box is for, so that I can kind of bed in the barrel slightly. But looking forward to it. Anyway, thanks for watching another episode. Hope you stay safe. Catch you again. We are going to be shooting this on the next episode. So catch you then. Goodbye.